is a production of the Department of Broadcasting and Journalism at Western Illinois University.
Appearances, the Kelly Sears era is over. The Bombers name a Macomb native as their new head football coach. Hear from that man later in the show.
And spring sports are upon us here at Local Sports Focus. We'll take you out to the Diamond for Macomb High baseball highlights coming up.
And a Leatherneck softball thrilling finish that proves you should never give up no matter how big the deficit. And all that and a whole lot more on the return of Local Sports Focus. We're back again, and welcome to Local Sports Focus, the show that covers everything Western Illinois and Macomb High School sports. I'm Danny Fry.
And I'm Reggie Church. So good to be back. On today's show, coaching changes from MHS and WIU football, spring sports highlights, and a review of the magical Leatherneck women's basketball season.
First, the Macomb High School baseball team, reigning Class 2A sectional champs, lost a lot from a year ago, but the Bombers looking for a good start to the season against rival Monmouth-Roseville last night.
And we will pick up the action in the bottom of the sixth inning. Bombers trailing 4-3. Blake Kelly would send it down the left field line. The throw to third in plenty of time, but apparently no tag on Corby Foxall. Thank you, Mr. Umpire. Two runners are in scoring position now for Cale Reeves with the grounder to short. The throw goes home for out number 2, but our camera's still rolling, and Kelly will try to catch everybody napping, but he runs the Bombers out of the scoring threat.
MHS still down by 1 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, and Brandon Bickers delivers a single up the middle to tie the game, but a play at the plate, and he's out. We're going to extras all the way to the top of the 9th, still tied at 4, and a shot over the head of the center fielder would be the difference. It took extras, but the Titans edge the Bombers. 9 innings, Monmouth-Roseville on top, 5-4 in the West Central Conference clash. MHS on the road this afternoon at 4:30 in Beardstown. To Western Illinois Athletics, the Leatherneck baseball team started a 3-game Summit League series against North Dakota State on Friday afternoon.
And what a game it would be. Let's get right to the action. Ian Cook, a bit of a rocky start in the first, but he'll pick up the backward K early on with a strikeout looking. Bottom of the third, the Leathernecks were trailing 3-0, and Mitch Ellis would go opposite field for his first long ball of the season, get the Leathernecks on the board.
And how about back-to-back jacks? It's Dion Thompson muscling it out of the ballpark, and then he'll go ahead and jog around the bases with that trot.
How about Alec Abercrombie as well, trying to lay down an NDSU bunt, but he misses, and Adam McGinnis, boy, showing glimpses of Yadi Molina out there throwing out the runner, leading off of first base. As we get to the bottom of the 8th inning with the Bison ahead 4-2. Thompson, well, he just do it again, tying the game up with his second home run of the game, and we got a brand new one of those games following the 2-run blast.
How about WIU running back Steve McShane, the pinch hitter, and he delivers with the go-ahead RBI single, but Sam Cottingham-Beard can't hold on to the lead in the 9th. The Bison take game 1 7-5, and later the series 2-1. WIU pummeled Robert Morris yesterday 12-1. The Leathernecks return to Alfred D. Boyer Stadium to host Bradley today at 4 to cap off the homestand.
Pummeled, I like that word. On Saturday, Western Illinois softball split a doubleheader with South Dakota to open up Summit League play. Sunday, it was the good old rubber match between the two. We'll take you there now. It was the conclusion of a 3-game set at Mary Ellen McKee Stadium. We'll go to the top of the second, no score, but Jessica Rogers would change that for the Coyotes with a blast to right field, 2-run shot to get South Dakota on the board first. Later on in the inning, how about Camille Fowler with a lazy fly ball to left, but it's over the head of Sam Rouse for a 2-run triple as Fowler would end up winding up at third base. And then a wild pitch would bring across the 5th run of the frame before Emily Winkler goes deep to right. So just like that, after 2 innings, the Coyotes were in control, 6-0 lead.
Brooke Stolga comes in relief of Emily Iver, would settle in, and the bats woke up in the bottom of the 5th. Peyton Abbott with a solo shot to left, and after Beatty followed suit with a solo homer of her own, Kelsey Marlowe gave us an RBI double down the third base line to cut South Dakota's lead in half 6-3 after 5.
6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after 5. 6-3 after So the Coyotes will have played a couple of insurance runs, basically. It's taken 8-3 lead in the bottom of the 7th. Pastolka, the pitcher, cranked a line drive homer to start the rally up for the Leathernecks. 8-5 USD with one out, but a ground ball's not handled by the second baseman, shortstop rather. Scoots into the outfield, and 2 runs will come in to score as the Leathernecks were down by just 1. The next batter, Rachel Beatty, she delivers, tying the game with a single to right. Just 1 out left in the 7th for the Leathernecks, and things are all tied up.
Sydney Hollings, the freshman, called up to pinch hit. The grounder takes a tough hop for the shortstop, Shelby Kyle. She whips it home, but Abbott slides in under the tag. Game over. Western wins. The Leathernecks complete an improbable comeback, scoring 6 runs in the final frame to win 9-8. Western will play Omaha on the road this weekend, but a quick change of venue. The Mavericks and Leathernecks will now play at Bolin Field in Lincoln, Nebraska.
And that's it for the highlights. It's story time when we come back to Local Sports Focus. We'll be right back.
A new era for Macomb High football. Here from the Bombers' new head ball coach and why he was hired after the break.
And Michael Sam, a few years after his historic reveal and selection into the NFL, visited the WIU campus to share his story. All that and more coming up next on Local Sports Focus.
Michael Sam, the first openly gay player to be drafted into the NFL.
Dream that I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly, just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
They'll test you, try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Western Illinois University allows you to think for yourself and to discover the freedom to become your own.
Own it at Western.
Think purple.
Think success.
Think Western Illinois University.
You can be a hero by being prepared for an emergency. First, make a plan. Call a family meeting to plan for things like how to connect with loved ones after an emergency or your escape route. I am not fast. Build a kit. When disaster strikes, it's important to have enough supplies to last 3 days. And don't forget the batteries.
Low battery.
Visit ready.gov/kids for more preparedness tips.
And welcome back to Local Sports Focus. The Macomb High football coaching search is officially over.
Bomber football will now be led by Tony Weston, the JV coach for the past 2 seasons after he was the head wrestling coach at Beardstown for 8 years from 2007 to 2015. At their latest meeting, the Macomb School Board approved Tony Weston as Macomb High's next head football coach. Weston replaces Kelly Sears, who retired after 21 years as the head coach.
Obviously, there's a lot that's already set here with the tradition over 21 years that Kelly laid that, you know, that we just need to continue.
28 people applied for the job, but Weston stood out during the screening process.
Came down to Tony's enthusiasm, his willingness to work extremely hard under any type of circumstances, and he has a love for Macomb. You just think his personality is a good fit for our kids.
Weston is currently on the MHS campus as a teacher for the West Central Illinois Special Education Cooperative. Although this is a plus with no current teaching position open in the district, Bartlett adds that wasn't the only reason Weston was hired.
We really feel that his personality will help encourage kids to go out for football that maybe aren't out for any sport right now.
You got to be passionate about what you do and make sure that that comes through with honesty. And the kids see that, they relate to it, and they want to be a part of it. That's what we're hoping for, is to build that passion and, you know, realize that I'm a fan. I'm a fan of my kids. Also, I'll be the coach.
Weston is the son of former Western Illinois head football coach Brody Weston. The Bombers will begin the 2017 football season on August 25th at home versus Lincoln.
WRU welcomed the first openly gay player to be drafted into the NFL this past week. Michael Sam came to campus to talk about his life story and obstacles he's faced along the way.
What a story it is. NEWS3's Jason Chauvin was able to get an exclusive interview with Sam before he took the stage.
Michael Sam, the first openly gay player to be drafted into the NFL, visited Western Illinois on Wednesday, telling his story about how he overcame adversity and if he considers himself a role model in the LGBT community.
To me, I don't consider myself as a role model. I just consider myself, you know, I'm going to just do me and then do the right things. And if people want to see that as a role model, then I would do that. But I'll be that guy. But I never wanted to. I don't consider myself as an advocate, or I just consider myself as, you know, openly proud gay man and just going to do right by me and my community.
Sam reflected on his coming out back in his senior year of college, and he has a message for those in a similar position.
To me, my coming out was the day I came out on my first day at campus in my senior year, and that is when my moment. So I believe that whenever it's your moment, whenever it's your time to come out, be comfortable and own it. So don't let anyone influence you or force you to come out before that. You are the only one who knows when it's your time to come out.
On why Sam likes to share his story in front of people across the country, the reason is because his sharing might help someone else.
It's a part of the healing process for me, is to get to share. It's therapeutic, and just want to, you know, if I could help someone who maybe just don't know, or frightened of don't know how to come out to their family or to work, it's just anything I can help.
Sam is continuing his speaking tour next week as he visits the University of Kentucky on Wednesday.
Switching gears now, Western Illinois head football coach Charlie Fisher has some work to do other than recruiting this offseason. He had two crucial coaching positions to fill on his defensive staff.
Linebackers coach Gary Fisher left to become the defensive coordinator at Tennessee State, while defensive coordinator David Elson departed for the same position at Ball State.
Tony Grantham was announced as the new WIU defensive coordinator. Grantham was previously the linebacker coach at Louisville since 2013. Fisher went with a Leatherneck football alum as linebacker coach.
That's right. Dion Melvin returns to Macomb after a 6-year stint as defensive coordinator at Lindenwood University in St. Charles, Missouri. On the offensive side of the ball, Jared Elliott was promoted to co-offensive coordinator with Doug Malone.
Still to come, a member of the terrific Leatherneck women's basketball team will join us for a look back on their fantastic NCAA tournament season. That's next on Local Sports Focus.
Stick around.
I think just working with everybody in the newsroom, everybody has such a great camaraderie. All the opportunities that I've been given here have just been amazing to expand on that resume. I try not to beat myself up for the mistakes I make because there's so many opportunities. Just giving that experience, and this is how I got to do things in the real world, is really what the broadcasting and journalism department has done for me. When you have a really good show and that everybody nailed it, I mean, that's one of the best feelings in the world.
To eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat?
1 in 5 children struggles with hunger in America. Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Garrett Covington chose Western Illinois University because of the law enforcement program and the chance to be a Leatherneck.
Western has one of the best law enforcement programs in the nation. and I get to play the game I love. Whether I go pro or I go to law school, because of Western, I would take my success to another level. I am a success story. I am a leatherneck.
Think purple, think success. Think Western Illinois University.
Welcome back to Local Sports Focus, and we promised a women's basketball player from Western Illinois University on the show, and that would be Morgan Bloomer, the Summit League Transfer of the Year, Summit League All-First Team. Mo, thanks for taking the time and coming on after really just a fantastic year.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you had to, it was kind of a journey, started out at FGCU, coming from Milton, Wisconsin. Talk about what it was like sitting out last year and then really just having an extraordinary season.
I think sitting out helped a lot, especially having Olivia Brown with me to sit out, but it was also difficult when those close games would happen, like the IPFW, for example, where you just like want to play so bad, but like you can't. But I think it also ultimately helped me in the long run for this season, so I got to like get comfortable with our offense and learn the new defense and, I don't know, just be successful for this year.
And you mentioned Olivia Braun doing that with you. I mean, that was important. I mean, that was one of your first, calls and texts to try to get her to come with when she transferred from Toledo, right?
Yeah, I texted her right away when I found out that she was also transferring. I'm like, Liv, I haven't talked to you in 2 years, but what's up? Let's do this together.
And so you were able to share that with her. You talk about, one thing that was interesting you brought up at a press conference not too long ago was that you'd even take a visit here in Macomb. You just went ahead and committed. Well, why was that?
I think I can speak for any of the transfers that transfer that it's just a hectic process and trying to figure out, like, so I was still in Florida, so it was kind of hard to like try to find time to come and visit up here. And like I talked to Michelle Farrow and I talked to like Ashley Luke, and they're like, Gravina, Minard, they're great, the coaching staff is great, the school is great, it's in the middle of nowhere, but I think you can get through. And so I took their word for it, and I'm glad I did because I'm having a great time here.
It seems like Western has a nice little pipeline coming from the Wisconsin Lakers AAU team. But what was your time like playing for them?
It was fun. I started young at the Laker program. I was like maybe 6th grade. And then I kept going forward, and we had the national traveling team. And it was fun. We got to go to all different types of places. Like I got to go to Phoenix one year and then to Kentucky the other year. So it was definitely a learning experience. And to be able to play girls at the collegiate level still in high school, I think it really helped me a lot.
And Western Illinois women's basketball picked to finish 6th in the Summit League this year. I mean, looking back at it now, I mean, what was the team mindset at the beginning of the year when that poll came out?
I think we all knew that we weren't a 6th seed at all. And I think that we took that and took it as a chip on our shoulder, and I think we proved it well. And I think we all knew from the beginning the caliber of this team, and it was just nice to show it and be able to, I don't know, prove them wrong.
And it kind of seemed like everyone points back to the IUPUI game at home. You made SportsCenter top 10 for the three-quarter shot. I mean, we've talked about it before, but that had to be just a surreal moment.
Yeah, it was crazy. Everyone in the locker room after I made that, like, you're going to be on SportsCenter. I think I tried not to think about it, but I mean, I was like, maybe I can. Like, this is, and then after the game, my phone was just blowing up with different things. And then I stayed up till about midnight trying to see if I made it, and I made it, and it was surreal.
After the IUPUI game, everybody kind of went and got together. What was the team mentality after that, and how does the team win 11 straight games?
I think we watched that documentary, Survive and Advance, about NC State, and I think that we were just like, we can be this team. We're like this team. We face a lot of adversity, and we just literally, that was our mentality throughout the last 11 games, was survive and advance, and I think it worked out pretty well.
That survive and advance mentality, it did work out pretty well in the Summit League tournament. Go back to the championship game. Taylor Hanneman catches it at the top of the key. Well, what's going through your mind there going with a chance to go to the big dance?
Taylor, you're a great shooter, and please make this.
and she somehow did, and you guys obviously had just a great experience at the NCAA tournament. Morgan, again, thanks for coming on this morning. Coming up after the break, an important man in the community, but also a big fan of Macomb sports team. Stick around for Local Sports Focus.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does.
Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
I think what I love most about NEWS3 is that we're really provided with a real-world experience. We're able to get hands-on work in news, and it's very similar to what you would find in a real newsroom, but everyone around here is really good about pushing you to be your best. NEWS3 has really taught me to believe in myself and that if you work hard, you can achieve anything you want. News can sometimes be really tricky and you have a lot of roadblocks. All of us hold each other to really high standards, and I think that really shows in our newscasts.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
And welcome back to Local Sports Focus. Joining us now is a very important guest, a fixture in the Macomb community. He's a native of the city, a former state police officer, mayor by day, and a dad and sports fan by night. Mayor Mike Inman joins us live. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Reggie, it's good to be here. We're going to talk about exciting stuff, so it's a great opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, let's get right into it. Keeping up with the theme of women's hoops this morning, you got the chance to be there when they won the conference title. Also there when they played in the tournament in Tallahassee. What was that experience like to see in that team where they haven't been in decades?
Well, watching the team all through this past season, having seen them grow and do such a great job, having a record-setting crowd at the late in the season as they were hitting their stride, and then being able to follow them, go out to Sioux Falls, drive out there with some other local sports fans to cheer them on. It was great. And the great thing about it is that while they're doing all those great things on the court, the university, those individuals on the team, and the community were getting some recognition that you can't really buy.
Absolutely.
And it was a positive all the way around.
And speaking of the community, yesterday, of course, was their day, as proclaimed earlier this week. And we just saw tons of community support throughout their run. How important is that to kind of get this community together and going for the same cause?
Well, we're facing some challenges both at the university and the fact that we've got some other challenges going on across the board. To have something positive to focus on, these women doing such an outstanding job bringing the community together, you can't put a price on that. And from a psychological standpoint, it's huge. It's a huge positive.
Now, staying in tune of champions this morning, we have to mention the 7th grade volleyball team in Macomb. What a terrific year they had. 4A state champions, 28-1. I mean, just absolutely terrific. It had to be fun to watch.
It was, aside from a little bit of a personal interest in my daughter being on the team. Great to see these young athletes doing all of the good things right. A true team, all of these young women getting the basic fundamentals of volleyball down without a doubt, but learning some huge life lessons about what it takes to do things right from a team perspective. And I think that we will see many more good years coming from these young women as they grow older and get further along in their athletic career.
I was going to say, talk about Coach Rexer on that team.
Brianna is great. Talk about fixtures. She's a fixture in the volleyball community here. She had a great high school career in an adjoining school district. She's taken all that positive energy and focused these women, these young girls, soon to be women, in the positive direction. They get what it takes to work as a team and get things done. And she has been, without a doubt, the driving force behind that whole philosophy.
So, as you said, your daughter's on the team. What was the celebration like after winning?
Well, muted. There's usually ice cream involved and dinner out somewhere. Repeated trips to the Dairy Queen still are on our agenda as the post-celebratory environment continues. These are girls that don't take a lot of things to make them happy, thank goodness. They understand what they accomplished. They have kept it in perspective. Nonetheless, they're very, very happy young women. And again, they bring a positive fixture of the community that you can't put a price on either. Seeing that across the board, really, really good for the community as a whole, and obviously outstanding for these young women athletes.
Absolutely. Now, on a personal level, I have to see as those things were going on kind of at the same time, you were probably a busy man traveling from Sioux Falls.
Well, you know, as it turned out, my daughter went with me to see the women play at Tallahassee. She brought one of her teammates with her and her dad. It was a road trip again down to Florida. Pretty quick turnaround, down on Thursday, back on Saturday. But it was well worth the trip to feel the excitement at that level, the NCAA tournament and the women's basketball program. Really, really well worth the trip. And would we have preferred a different outcome? Absolutely. But nothing but positive came out of those women. They fought hard. It was great to see that collegiate play at that level. It was super. Wouldn't do it any different. We'll look forward to it happening again next year.
Absolutely. All right, Mayor Mike Gaiman, thank you so much for joining us.
You bet,
morning.
Reggie. Thanks for having me today.
All right, still to come on Local Sports Focus. We'll wrap it up with schedules after this. Stay tuned.
We taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, the net. You taught him how to hit the upper corner. You even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning? Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you get stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay. But remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
You make me wear my bike helmet. You taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules.
You tell me to stay away from drugs.
To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
My favorite thing about News 3 is you're constantly working with someone. If you're not going to work with someone, then your show's not going to go right. News 3 has really got me ready and prepared for the outside world. Traveling to do a tornado story, or if that even means traveling to Iowa to cover third graders. I get to work with some fantastic people. It wouldn't be the show that it was today without the production crew, without our anchors, without our talent. It's really a team effort, and I'm beyond blessed to be able to be here.
Local Sports Focus, we want to inform you, our viewers, about the sporting events going on at Macomb High and Western Illinois University.
As always, right? Well, we end our show with a look ahead at next week's sports for the area.
This afternoon, let's start with Western Illinois Athletics. Leatherneck Baseball will not host Bradley. That game is postponed again. The Bradley baseball game today is postponed before the Leathernecks head to Tulsa for a 3-game set against Oral Roberts over the weekend.
And WIU women's tennis has a home match against IUPUI on Friday. That's at 1 o'clock. Western softball tries to keep rolling in Summit League play at Omaha. They're going to be playing in Lincoln for that one, starting with a doubleheader on Saturday.
Lincoln, Nebraska, not Lincoln, Illinois, the home
That's
of
right.
News 3's own Devin Biggs. Track and field continues outdoor events in Charleston, Illinois at EIU's Big Blue Classic. Events begin Friday.
To Macomb High we go. Bomber baseball, they're busy, including a road game tonight at Beardstown, followed by a return trip to Monmouth tomorrow. Both of those games have a 4:30 first pitch. Over the weekend, it's a round-robin tournament at Richwoods High in Peoria, with the action starting at 11 a.m.
MHS softball returns home this afternoon and tomorrow, hosting Southeastern and Monmouth Roseville, with both games getting underway at 4:30. Boys and girls track and field welcome in Quincy tomorrow, starting with field events at 4.
And the Lady Bombers girls soccer team, they're at Edison Field again tomorrow against Springfield Lamphere at 4 p.m.
That's all for us today here at Local Sports Focus. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for News 3 live at 4.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning, and for all of us, have a fantastic rest of your day.